Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1:64 scale Hot Wheels 61 Chevy Impala Sport Coupe, a classic from the year I was born. This one's brand new out of the box, so there's not a thing wrong with it, but I'm still going to go to work on it. It's a pretty good representation of the real one-to-one car. This is my entry to the April Four Horsemen invitational, and the theme is Pro Touring. More on that in just a bit. Make sure you got a Hot Wheels VW Beetle in hand for next month's invitational on the theme of surfing. I've got a buddy build coming up with Dan from the Chop Shop, a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow for National Redlines Day, and my next epic Fury Road build for sometime late in the summer, the Doofwagon. Now don't be shy, be sure to karate chop those like and subscribe buttons, because that helps this channel to grow and keep on coming back. First things first, I want to thank the Four Horsemen for taking me in as a permanent member of their build team. It's an absolute honor for me to partner together with these guys whom I've been watching and learning from since starting out in the hobby just 2 years ago. And how many times have I heard people say in their videos, they got into this because they were watching Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, or Uncle Paulie at Diecast Graveyard, and Xavier at Diecast Show Customs. All of these guys bring unique skills to the table, and I'm among the masses that got started by being fascinated with what they were doing on the bench and learned a lot of my moves just by emulating what they were doing. So it's a big deal for me to be counted among them, and I hope it'll be a good fit and a long partnership, and you'll enjoy what each of us does uniquely, recognizing that each channel is a little bit different than the other ones. Remember, all of us are still growing and developing in our skills, and that's why we want you to join in on these monthly invitationals. It's a great way to stretch your limits and get your name out there among some new viewers. And you know what they say. So I encourage you to step outside your comfort zone and join in with us. Hey, do you like discovering new channels like I do? Then click on the link that I put in the description for the Weekend Warrior and go on over and visit Ed and see what he's up to, because he's got some great uploads that you're going to enjoy very much, and let him know that you came by from Maple Leaf Customs, and I'd appreciate that very much, and so would Ed. I'm going to work on the bare metal detail on the Impala with a couple of different wire brush attachments on my Dremel, and as I roll it around in my fingers now at this stage, I realize it's very well done. There are no casting lines to be removed. And it makes me wonder if that's the same with the Impala you're working on, or they all come from the same mold or not. I really don't know. But I was able to take it right into primer, and now the imagination begins. I had to do a little research on Pro Touring, which is a style of classic muscle car like this Impala, with enhanced suspension and brakes and aesthetics. Pro Touring cars are built with an emphasis on performance, and they're intended to be driven. Kind of challenging to show all that in a 1:64 scale model, but here I am now enhancing the exhaust system and the suspension. It'll get a new set of tires and dressed up with a paint job and some chrome work. And I'll take this opportunity to clip off that little pizza pan steering wheel. I should have done that before I painted it, but it's no biggie to put a hole through there and put one of my own 3D printed steering wheels, a little more realistic. Just means I've got to touch it up with a little bit of paint, and I do the wheel in black, and I put some red seat belts, and now a touch of chrome for the seatbelt buckles. And if you look closely on this one or your Impala casting, you'll notice there's no seatbelts in the back. And that's what I grew up in, rolling around back and forth with my brother and sister back there, having a great old time. I had taped off the roof, intending to leave that white, but it looked too much like a cop car, so I put it back in the paint booth for another shot of metallic flake all over. It looks great. And now I've taped off the sides for these very distinctive chrome strips. And I do that with a Molotow pen. If you take your time and do a good masking job, you'll get a very good result like that. Or you could spray it on with your airbrush. I used the same technique to go around the window trim. Did you remember that the original red casting that I started with didn't have chrome trim? But this is part of dressing up the aesthetics for the Pro Touring model. And sometimes I don't use tape and I just go freehand. You can try both, but be warned, if you mess up with these chrome pens, that's tough stuff to get off. I put trim around the back as well, and I've highlighted the taillights first in chrome, and when it's dried up I go over them with some red highlights. The Impala is a full-size car built by Chevrolet for the model years 1958 to 1985, 94 to 96, and 2000 to 2020. And the Impala was Chevy's popular flagship passenger car and was among the better-selling American-made automobiles in the States. This third-generation Impala was restyled on GM's B platform for the first time in 1961. The Sport Coupe models featured a bubbleback roofline style, that's what I'm working on, and a Super Sport SS option also debuted in 61. Power brakes were $43 extra. The Samed wheels will be a nice grade for the Pro Touring model. And how small can you make your decals? I've tried to replicate the Impala emblem on the back of those chrome strips. Came out really well. I'm popping my resized axles back in, front and back, and the slightly modified and detailed chassis with a channel logo. I didn't raise or lower the ride height, and I kept the staggered rake to it with the 12 and 10 millimeter wheels. Well, let's zoom in and see all the details that I did on my vision of the Pro Touring car. Headlights and the front emblem are detailed. There's the interior now in white leather, black wheel. Speakers are done up, tail lights and the chrome trim all the way around sets off that really nice metallic flake. It just glistens. And it's a roller. That's a rule in the Maple Leaf Custom shop. Well, I really do like it in reds, one of my favorite colors for a car. And that's the way it started out, but I think it looks classy in black, don't you? With the chrome trim and white interior, deep dish wheels from Samed, and I think it's looking fantastic. Trust me, I've upgraded the suspension and the brakes and the engine package and everything else that you can't see. And it's rolling out of the shop in this condition and making its way to my local thrift shop where all my customs go as free gifts for little boys and girls. I want to thank the Four Horsemen again for bringing me on board, and for each of you for watching. Be sure to check out Ron at Somo Diecast. He's the guest horseman this month, and there will be lots of other Impala videos for you to catch. Drive carefully. It's coffee time.